The first visit ever by U.S. head of state to China took place in February 1972 as President Richard Nixon and his wife Pat arrived for a week-long state visit. Nixon's historic trip took place as the U.S. was bogged down in its war with Vietnam and Cold War tensions with Moscow. Cuban observers say the warm Chinese welcome to President Nixon was a surprise to Cuba and Chile because the U.S. leader at the time had great contempt for the two countries. In fact, he regarded Cuban leader Fidel Castro and Chile's Salvador Allende as slices of a red sandwich that would enclose Latin America in communism. Nevertheless, both socialist countries closely followed the groundbreaking trip and kept their relations with China going.
It was kind of difficult for Cuba to understand the reasons why China took that step of receiving Richard Nixon, although on the other hand, it was obvious that it was a big step for Chinese diplomacy to make the mighty United States to accept the reality of China. That has to, I think the Cuban leadership balanced these two assessments.
Chile was the first South American country to establish diplomatic relations with China in 1970. Chilean President Allende, a close friend of Cuba, had led the country on the road to socialism. Despite the newfound engagement between China and the U.S., Chile kept friendly contact and trade relations with China. For this political analyst, Nixon's diplomatic thaw with China and President Barack Obama's policy of normalizing relations with Cuba in 2014 were lessons in history.
In the case of Nixon visiting China and Obama visiting Cuba, it was a recognition that the policy of isolation and hostility towards China and towards Cuba had failed. It was also a recognition of the success of Chinese and Cuban foreign policy.
Cuba was the first Latin American nation to establish diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China back in 1960. Ever since, bilateral trade and cooperation have expanded considerably. For journalists like José Luis Robaina, China's presence in Latin America is strong and growing.
At present, China is the first commercial partner of Chile, Brazil and Peru. It's the second partner for other South American nations and the first supplier of technology and assistance for the development of Cuba. China has become an important economic power for Latin America.
Chinese President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative has been joined by Cuba and other countries of this region to achieve a closer partnership with China. Luis Chirino, CGTN, Havana.